in fire and drowned in rain. Lost myself as I sought my name. Chased different stars like they held the key, till the silence softly said to me, never again confuse the world with the source of joy inside. It's not in praise or touch or gold, it's the stillness where I hide. So I choose this joy, not for a season, but always believing a one and only Son. I choose this joy as my decision, 'cause all distractions had me undone. I'll become a mirror for what they're needing, even when they're drifting, bleeding. Reflect the inner voice reminding what so many unaware are seeking. I've witnessed their rise and then their fall, and I've done the same behind my wall. But now I stand and lay bare my hands, cracked and bleeding from building with the sands. From today I'll always know that heaven's not beyond the sea. It lives within each breath I take. It's who I am, myself, it's me. So I choose this joy, not for a season, but always believing a one and only Son. I choose this joy as my decision, 'cause all distractions make me undone. And I'll be a mirror of what they're needing, even when they're drifting, bleeding. I become the voice reminding what so many unaware are seeking. Let the storm come, let the ground break. I will not shake, I will not shake. There's a light they can never take, so let them now face my way. Yes, I choose this joy, not for a season. It's what I'm believing, I'm my only Son. I choose this joy as my decision, even if it appears the world's undone. I'll remain intact if they are breaking, reflect their light, even if they're aching. I'll be what many were unaware they were always seeking. I woke to the scent of Earl Grey tea, her voice in the kitchen humming softly. She turned and smiled like the day we first met. No more waiting for us, no regrets. The mirror holds a younger man's eyes, clear blood, clean heart, no compromise. They said it once, the tumor is gone, but I knew it long before the dawn. I knew this day, I held it close like sacred flame. I saw the crowd, I heard my name, long before the banners came. Her hand is warm, the silence hums, and then applause like rising drums. To chase she scars I as light. They thank me for their sleepless nights. One girl walks up, her eyes still red. She grips my arm and bows her head. I lost my father, she quietly said, but your film's hero brought him back instead. I knew this day, the hugs, the grace, the quiet sway. Their arms around me, not just praise, but love for truths I helped convey. They didn't know my soul was scarred, even as they healed each damaged part. I'm not surprised it came this way. I lived it once, I knew this day. She finds me after barefoot and bright, pulls me close in the lobby light. You made it, she says, and so did I whisper back, we never died. I knew this day, the taste of peace, the end of strain. My body whole, my spirit sane, my purpose finally unchained. I bow again, not from fear, but for the love that brought me here. I'm not surprised it is this way. I lived it first. I knew this day.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this great big earth that I refer to as a playing field. The flat playing field of Earth underneath the Go Dome. As my subscribers already know, my channel is primarily devoted to the Houston Astros, or has been devoted to the Houston Astros all season long. Somehow I was able to do the live play-by-play for more than 98% of all the Astros games in 2025. I am sad to say that the Astros season is over, and that's unfortunate. I'm sure those of you who are fans of the teams that are on the screen right now, whoops, I gotta make a change right here to my scoreboard. What happened to the? Why is the Angels logo showing there? What in the world is going on with that? Why is that showing? That makes no sense at all. I gotta change that. Forgive me for that. I have no idea. There we go. Why was that showing? I had no idea. I thought I'd changed that already. It was still showing the Angels on there. But anyway, after getting the requests from my subscribers, and in addition to that, donations specifically for me to do the playoff games, here we are. For those of you who've never been to my channel before, welcome. Today we're going to be focused on the Tigers and the Guardians American League Wild Card Series, one of two different games that I'll be covering. I'm going to do the Ironman triathlon, or maybe it's a decathlon, since I have two games today. This is going to be the first time I've ever done two baseball games back to back. I did do the Houston Texans the other day and followed that up with the Astros last game of the year. But this will be my first time to do back-to-back baseball games. For me, this game starts a little after 2 a.m. in the morning. Right now, it's about 1:54 a.m. And then the Yankees-Red Sox game starts at 7 a.m. my time. So unless this game goes into a lot of extra innings, it should be over in time for us to jump over to the Yankees game. And what I'm hoping for is for this game to go by moderately quickly so that I have a little bit of break time. I can get up and then maybe if I feel like it, maybe cook some eggs and stretch my legs a little bit. Cook the eggs, stretch the legs, not the other way around, and then get back to the second live stream. After that, I imagine I will go back to bed, maybe by 10 o'clock today, after 8 hours of work. I can get some rest. Kyle, welcome in. Kyle says, as a Mariners fan, it's kind of hard to pick between the Tigers and the Guardians because the winner plays the Mariners. Well, I kind of feel like if you want to pick the team that you have a better chance against, it is a little tricky because the Tigers were more solid during the season, but started to fall apart at the end. The Guardians were kind of opposite. They weren't doing well at all, and they were kind of a joke, and everybody thought they were bad, and then they just started winning. So, do you think that the Tigers will continue? Maybe if the Tigers are getting beat up by the Guardians in this series, then that's a reason to be a little concerned. But if the Tigers wind up winning this series out of luck, maybe that will be good for you. I don't really have a dog in this race, obviously. Whether the Tigers or the Guardians win, I don't really care who advances, to be honest. I guess if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Guardians, the Gardindians, as I call them, simply because the Tigers have Hinch, and I'd prefer not to see him go on. But that's just my personal feeling. George, good afternoon. I'd say, how about good night to you? Or good super early morning. It's almost 2 now. Angel, man of culture, I salute you as well. And I got your email. I did read it actually right after I woke up. I took a very short and not so great nap. And as soon as I woke up, I saw that I had the email, and I really do appreciate it. I took everything to heart that you said, and I greatly appreciate that. Thank you again so much. I don't normally write emails or messages quite that long, even though it is very easy for me to type. I type quickly, and as I said, I am given to words, and I like to be understood. They're a combination, just like everybody. Everybody has their own personality and characteristics. One of the things that I like, and I suppose it's because I have the writer's bug inside of me, I really like to be understood. I like for people to clearly understand me. And my pet peeve is when people aren't trying to understand. It's a pet peeve of mine. And maybe for some of you out there, it bothers you a little bit more than the average bear. You know what I'm saying? I think some people say, oh, it always bothers me when people aren't trying to understand me. Well, maybe so, but it truly is something that irks me. So that's the benefit of spending so much time alone. You learn to listen to yourself. Most people ignore themselves. Being alone is difficult, too difficult for most people to handle. They want to be with people all the time. They want to be with friends. They want to have a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or wife. They want to have people around all the time. They want to be watching TV all the time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're always wanting to do something and fill their lives with something. And I'd recommend that everybody spend a decent amount of time alone every single day. Al says that the Mariners have been good at home, so hopefully that keeps up for Mariners fans. Although the only problem with that is that the Seahawks might have to push games back. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a problem, but it's definitely an inconvenience, right? Um, I was thinking about this earlier today about who I'd like to see go all the way, and I saw online where somebody had picked the Seahawks. Oh, the Seahawks. I'm looking at the text on the screen again. Somebody had picked the Mariners and the Phillies in the World Series. And I looked at it and I thought, it's probably going to be either the Phillies or the Brewers in the World Series, but I would much prefer to see the Brewers there. I'd actually like that. I'd like to see the Brewers in the World Series. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Mariners won out and went all the way to the World Series. But I will say this, as long as the Yankees and the Dodgers are not in the World Series, then I don't care too much otherwise. But I do believe that teams like the Cubs, the Dodgers, they won't be able to get past teams like the Brewers and the Phillies. I don't think that the Dodgers and the Cubs can take those teams. And in the AL, I don't think that the Guardians and the Tigers can take the Mariners. I don't think that the Mariners are going to have any problem at all going to the ALCS. I think that's going to be the easy part. Now, winning the ALCS, I kind of feel like they're not going to have any problems with it. But, anything can happen. I do feel, though, that if I'm honest with myself and you guys and gals, that the Mariners most likely going to go to the World Series. They just have to get over that curse, that curse of the playoffs. That's one thing that they haven't been able to get past just yet. But you know what? The Astros didn't make the playoffs first time in basically 9 years. So if the Astros didn't make the playoffs, maybe that's what needs to happen. That's what was needed for the Mariners to get in. You know what I'm saying? Ryan wants to see the Mariners and the Brewers or the Blue Jays and the Phillies. Yeah, Blue Jays is another team I wouldn't mind seeing go in. I don't have anything against that. I'd like to see Springer play. If I picked, the only thing about the Phillies is I really can't stand their fans. I don't really have much against the team, but their fans are pretty much terrible. Anytime we play them, they're so bad. So that's the reason I just don't have. But otherwise, I don't have anything against the team, and I think they're kind of strong, but maybe inconsistent. So I don't think that they will make it. I favor the Brewers. The Brewers have been just consistent, and they've gotten no love from the media. A lot of people, especially Astros media, surprisingly, a lot of the Astros media were saying constantly, week after week after week, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. This winning streak is fake. But come on, when you are basically the number one team, you have the best record in all of the major leagues, and you had a long winning streak, and you've never showed any signs of being or no signs of regressing. I mean, at some point, you have to admit it's a good team. So I think that was nonsense. Ryan, thank you for that $2 super chat. Ryan asks, which former Astro will win another World Series? Which former Astro will win another World Series? Well, it could be Springer. Maton has that chance, right? But I don't have any bad blood towards the Blue Jays. Don't have any bad blood towards several teams. It's funny because some teams I don't like because of their fan base. Some teams I don't like because they are saturated internationally, like the Dodgers and the Cubs, but especially the Dodgers. But my brother also worships the ground the Dodgers walk on. Oh yeah, could be Ryan, could be the coach, could be Hinch, could be. You're right. Astros seem to have players all over the place. I made a joke about that a couple of weeks ago. Maybe that's why the Astros had all these players on these different teams, so they could kind of work within and sabotage them or something, get the Astros in the playoffs. But if that was their assignment, they failed. They had one job and failed to do it. It just breaks my heart for Altuve. Altuve is clearly getting towards the end of his career, and I hate to see it come to an end. I mean, I'm really thankful that I get to see him play at the end of his career, and I get to call some of those games. None of that on my channel, thank you. I guess there's no pregame here. It says I can start watching from 2:08. Right now it's 2:06. So Ryan says, I feel like the Red Sox could pull out some tricks to get them past at least one round. Bunch of younger guys plus Bregman and Cora. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about Bregman and Cora. But I don't have anything, once again, like with the Sox, I don't have anything against their fans or the team. I still have a good friend that he's been a friend of mine for a long time. Goodness gracious, how long? Nearly 30 years. And his wife became the reason why I couldn't visit him anymore unless she was at work or something. That was sad. She became really radical far left. She even colored her hair purple, had the glasses, the piercings, heavy set, smoked a lot. I mean, she was literally all of the stereotypes. But she was living the stereotypes more than 10 years ago, like 15 years ago. So anyway, she was a big Boston fan, so that's the only reason I don't like Boston to win. Carol wants to know if I'm doing all the games today. That would be quite impossible. I don't know anybody that could do all the games in one day. That's a lot of hours of work. Do I get paid to do this? If you want to donate to me, I get paid. That's true. If you donate, let's see here. Let me translate this. All right. All right. Well, it looks like the game has finally started on screen. Gavin Williams on the mound. Wow, they're going right into it. There's the first pitch already. It's hit out into left field. Stephen Kwan puts it away for out number one. One pitch and one out from Williams. Carol, no, I'm not kidding. The only way I make money on these streams is from my supporters, anybody who donates, plus whatever ads might show during the stream. Other than that, no, I do not get paid to do this. I'm just one guy in Japan, actually. This is grounded to the shortstop, fires it over to first base. Just like that, 2 pitches. Torres grounds out. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Tigers going down pretty quick right off the bat. Thanks, Ryan. I believe in you too, buddy. Gavin Williams. I don't have all the data on this screen that I normally have. I wish I had a little more data. Carpenter, the DH for the Tigers, is at the plate. Lefty. Batting, let's see here, 252 for the season. Takes that first strike, up and out. Right in the bottom of the zone, he lines it into right field. That's going to be a single. Well, they bobble it. He might be able to go to second, and he does. Look at that. He's thinking about 3, but he holds up. A little bit of an error there. Carpenter has a single, but it's going to be a second base runner on that error. Stop spamming on my channel. If you guys see anybody in the chat talking about watch it live or for free or anything like that, don't touch any of that stuff. Torkelson at the plate. First pitch is inside for ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. He golfs that one out on the left field. It's going to drop, and it looks like it's going to score a run. They're going to wave him around. There's no throw. Tigers strike first blood. Despite 2 outs after 2 pitches, with that single into left field, it's 1-0 Tigers in the top of the first. Look at that. Pretty amazing. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and then a couple of pitches later, 1-0. They got a guy on first with 2 away. Ryan says I have Cleveland winning the series, but to be honest, I don't care who wins. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't have any strong feeling one way or the other. Riley Green at the plate takes that first pitch in there for strike 1. 0-1 is the count. Riley Green at the plate. Here's the toss from Williams. Swing and a miss, 98 right above the zone. 0-2. Jason says, I want the Reds to beat the Dodgers as a Reds fan. However, I realize that the Dodgers have the better roster. The Reds can surprise you, though. I think that they, when they turn it on, they can beat anybody. 84 below the zone, fouled away. Green batting 258 for the season, the 5th guy in the lineup today for the Tigers. Thank you, Walk Up. Always happy to have new subs. 97 above the zone, swing and a miss. Williams gets the strikeout. So a little middle of the inning drama for Gavin Williams. He literally gets 2 outs on 2 pitches. And thanks to an error on one of his outfielders, a single turns into a double, and then one more single drives in the run, 1-0. Ryan says, I remember checking into my San Diego hotel and watching the Dodgers being eliminated by the Nationals. 2019, I was really happy until the Nationals eliminated the Astros. Yeah. You know, it's funny to me that I still hear some people like Chandler Rome. He still believes that the 29 Astros was the best Astros team of all time. And I think that opinion is ridiculous. You know why? Because they lost to the Nationals. That's why. The best Astros team of all time, in my opinion, is the 2022 team. Hands down, it's the best team. Reds versus Guardians World Series. I think that's highly doubtful. If there's a Reds Guardians World Series, my guess is that that would be one of the lowest percentage possibilities of a matchup for this year's World Series. That's just my opinion. Ryan says Ohio would implode. Probably so. Yeah, you're right, Ryan. That's the thing. Chandler Rome is going by these statistics, but being the best team ever, being the best Astros team ever, isn't just about the statistics, right? I mean, you actually have to win the games. You have to show up and win the games. You have to have a combination of things. It's not just about the math. It's about how you play in the postseason. Tarek Scooble's on the mound for the Tigers. Go Tigers. Maybe Ed Ogeron is watching this game. First pitch to Kwan is in there for a strike 1. Stephen Kwan leading it off, batting .272 for the season. He shows bunt, pulls back. I'm surprised that wasn't called a strike. 91 at the top of the zone, but it's 1-1. Astros could have really used a hitter similar to Kwan this year. Here's the 1-1 pitch. He grounds that, a bouncer right up the middle, played by the shortstop, and he gets him for the first out of the inning. If it were the Blue Jays and the Brewers, I'd be fine with that. If it winds up being the Mariners and the Brewers, so be it. Not a fan of the Mariners. But, you know, the team itself, the organization, has had nothing but bad luck, you know, in the playoffs. Martinez at the plate takes 2 balls back to back. It's 2-0. 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the first. Tigers up 1-0. There comes the 2-0 pitch. Right in the top of the zone, fouled off, 98 miles an hour. Tarek winning the Cy Young with Hunter Brown in third. As long as Hunter Brown is in the top 3, the Astros will benefit from that. They'll get an extra pick because of it. That's another one at the top of the zone, actually a little above the zone, but called a strike. It's 2-2. The umpire's being a little bit inconsistent on those pitches right above the zone. Here's the 2-2 pitch. 100 miles an hour, up and in, swing and a miss. He goes down swinging. 2 up and 2 down. That brings up Ramirez. First pitch to him is grounded off. Jose Ramirez batting .283 for the season. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. .91 outside. Cardinals fan. Watching from the golf course. That's nice. Here's the 1-1. Outside on a curveball. Mixture of cheers and boos from the crowd. I don't know what they're booing for. That ball was clearly outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Skubal against Ramirez with 2 outs. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss on another 100-mile-per-hour heater. Skubal scooting along. I went to school where Mason Winwin, head coach, retired shortly after Win made MLB debut. Another 100-mile-per-hour strike, but they called it a ball. It was up and in. I think it got that corner. Catcher thought it had the corner too. He's about to go around the horn with it. It's a full count. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss on the changeup. 90-mile-per-hour changeup. That's sick right there. .90-mile-per-hour changeup. That's terrible. That's going to be it for this inning. Tigers up 1-0. We go to the top of the first. Tigers will be back up at the plate in just a moment. Skubal gets his 3 up and 3 down. Which team do you guys and gals like the least? Which team or teams do you definitely not want to see in the World Series? Let's see here. Let me see if I can resize this screen just a little bit here. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right. That was a quick first inning despite the 1 run scored. One unearned, if I can speak, blah, 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 blah. 1 unearned run on the board. For the Tigers, it's 1-0. Just realized that my scoreboard is not showing the score. Why is that? First pitch is outside. I'm going to have to take a look at that. I just realized that it was not showing it. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Winsel Perez at the plate. Here comes the next pitch from Williams. That's a nice pitch on the outside corner, outside upper corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Perez hits that one into center field. Should be catchable. And is out number 1. Let's see here. Where's my scoreboard? Refresh that. I'm going to double check the API, make sure that that's right. 97-mile-per-hour pitch, the first pitch right in there from Williams. Strike 1. Here comes the toss. Another one, same pitch. 98-mile-per-hour fastball. 0-2. Dingler at the plate, batting .278 for the season. Here's the toss. Curveball below the zone, or Swiffer. The sweeper. Fouls it off. 0-2. The count remains. Here comes the toss. Oh, I see. I think I know. I think I know what the deal is. That's hit to the shortstop. Fires it over to first. Dingler is down. 2 up and 2 down for Williams so far. I'm going to check my API game pack number. It might be incorrect. Forgive me for taking a moment here. 90 miles an hour on the inside to Zach McKinstry. McKinstry batting .259 this season. Here's the next toss. Right in the bottom of the zone on the curveball, 1-1. Let's see here. .82, we're almost in the dirt. Swing and a miss. 1-2 is the count with 2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the second. Gavin Williams trying to duplicate Scooble's first. Here's the toss. 97 above the zone. Fouled off. Got a nice little pitcher's duel going on right now. Take away the error, and the game is tied. Swing and a miss again. Another curveball, 83 in the bottom of the zone. He got him. And that's going to be it at the top of the first. Tigers are done. The Guardians will be back up at the plate in just a moment. Let's see here. $813,072. 813,072. Okay, okay, that's what it is. I think I just figured out my problem with the scoreboard. And I will update it right quick on the screen, and it should be good to go. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I apologize for that. I have to go in manually and change the game ID number for each game in order to have the proper live feed, live score. Gotta love the spammers. They make multiple because they know I'm gonna block them. So they make multiple accounts and try coming in here and blocking. It makes me want to change the subscription time or the live chat time to like 30 minutes. You got to be a subscriber for at least 30 minutes before you can send messages. I hate to do that to new subscribers, but these spammers are just annoying. Walk Up doesn't like the Cubs. Angel doesn't like the Yankees or the Dodgers. Yeah, those are two I don't like. Yankees, Dodgers, and Cubs are the main teams that I don't like. Skubal back on the mound. This is hit up the middle. Second baseman grabs it. Arias. Rodriguez gets tossed out at first base. One down. Here comes the next toss. 99 right in there. Strike one. Manzardo at the plate. Batting 234 at the DH position. Or the DH slot, rather. The DH position. 99 up and out. Ball one. 1-1 is the count. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. That's hit hard into right field, and that's going to be down. Let's see if he stretches it. He drops it. The right fielder drops it. But it was hit hard enough to where he had to put the brakes on at first base. The Guardians have a runner on. First hit of the game for the Guardians, the Gardindians. Fastball low in the zone, but right in the middle. One down, one on. Arias at the plate. Or Arias, I guess you could say. Gabriel Arias batting 220 for the year. 637 OPS. That is terrible. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. He grounds that one to shortstop. Could be a double play. And it is 6-4-3 double play. Tigers do up Javier Baez, Parker Meadows, and Gleyber Torres. Skubal is out of the inning after giving up a single. He gets the double play to short. And the Guardians create one left on base lobster. Oh, you figured it out, Angel. That's great. Thank you so much. I got to figure out the right people to tag. I know how to do tags whenever I post something. I just haven't been posting on X, so I had to create that profile just for my YouTube channel. But I appreciate you doing that because I thought about trying to find a way to tag Altuve and the Astros and all of that, but wasn't able to dig into it too deeply. There's still a couple of other things that I'm trying to do as well. One of those is I've had so many people request a way to get the music. I'm trying to set that up so they can do a download of that. And then I've got to finish putting the information for the giveaway. I want to announce that I gotta either make a video or announce it live. I would rather make a video, I think, because I'm not gonna have as many of my subscribers viewing at the same time. But it takes time to get those things done, especially when I've got things around here to do. But yesterday, honestly, I spent a lot of my time amazing things. But when you look at the numbers, I don't think there's a comparison. All right. Gavin Williams fires one in there for strike one. Javier Baez at the plate. Top of the third. That's grounded right through on the right side. Diving second baseman there. Can't get to it. Is that Rocchio? Leadoff runner is on. Nice single on the right side by Baez. One on with no outs. Parker Meadows at the plate. Takes that first pitch. 91-mile-per-hour cutter in there for a strike. 215 batting average. About a 621 OPS. Here's the toss. 97 on the outside edge, just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. 96 at the bottom of the zone, fouled off by Williams. I'm sorry, by Meadows. Williams fouls it off. He throws it and fouls it off. That would be an amazing feat. 29 pitches now for Gavin Williams. Runner on first with 1-2 count. A little high and outside. Ball 2. Next pitch on the way. High and outside again, 3-2. Looks like it's going to be a walk. There comes a toss from Williams. Wow, on that outside edge, a curveball. But he calls it a ball. It looks like a strike, but he calls it a ball. It's interesting. Gavin Williams basically asked the umpire, where did I miss? The umpire was like, outside. I think Williams was being sarcastic there. Gleyber Torres at the plate. First pitch at the bottom of the zone. Man, that was another strike called a ball. This umpire is really kind of all over the place. Gleyber Torres with a 256 batting average. OPS around 750. 2 runners on, no outs for the Tigers. Inside on the curveball. Too far inside, 2-0. He wants to change the ball out. He gets another one. Death Before Dishonor, welcome. Welcome from San Antonio. Good to have you back. Good early morning from Hiroshima. Here's the toss. 88 in the bottom of the zone. It's funny how there was a pitch that was basically in the exact same spot, but actually a little higher in the zone. More in the strike zone than that one, but called a ball. But this one is called a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the toss. 98 above the zone. 3 balls and 1 strike. Gavin Williams getting himself into an old-timey jam right here. Gleyber Torres with the 3-1 count. No outs and 2 runners on. Ooh, he went after that one, missed it. The sweeper. Top of the zone, 3-2 is the count. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Grounded to shortstop. He fumbles it for a second. Is it going to be a double? Yes, it is. He fumbled it a little bit when he first got it, but he was still able to get it off in time to get the double play. The lead runner gets to third, but there are now 2 outs. And just a little bit of a delay getting it out of his glove there. We're going to play Seattle, JD. Swing and a miss by Carpenter. Carpenter is 1 for 1 today. He's got a single, and he scored the only run of the game, thanks to an error. Runner on third with 2 outs. Carpenter at the plate with a 1 strike count. Here's the 0-1. Check swing low and inside. They say he went. So it's going to be 0-2. Ooh, that was close. That was close. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouls it off. Yeah, JD, I think so too. The only time I get to see these teams play is whenever they play the Astros, right? That's my only basis for comparison. But as I'm looking at their stats, I'm thinking, man, the Astros don't even have guys with batting averages that low. At least not in the starting lineup. Of course, I'm not talking about all their batters. I'm talking about some of them. It just makes me feel like these are 2 very so-so teams. 0-2 is the count to Carpenter. Here's the toss. He fouls it off again. Tigers trying to squeak in another run right here with that guy hanging out on third base. Thank you for joining the channel, those of you who are listening in. Gavin Williams up to 42 pitches. Here comes his 43rd. High, 98 miles an hour, but way too high. Got to make it competitive if you want him to swing and get that 3rd strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the next pitch to Carpenter. 93 just above the zone. The crowd is booing. Look at this. Look at the pitcher. Look at Gavin Williams. He gets upset about that. He starts yelling into his glove, acting like a baby, looks like. This is hit high in the air, 93 miles an hour. Is it going to be playable? No, it goes over the dugout. Count remains 1-2. I'm sorry, 2-2. That ball was clearly above the zone. The crowd booed heavily. The pitcher yelled about it. The coaches yelled about it from the dugout. But it was clearly out of the zone. If you're going to complain about something, complain about the ones that hit the edge of the zone, not the ones that are above it. Here's the toss. Curve in the dirt. Full count. Yeah, JD, the Astros definitely have, if you look at the players they have and the kind of talent they have, it is much higher than what the Mariners have. They just never lived up to those expectations. They never lived up to those abilities, you know? That's it on the strikeout. The Tigers strand a runner on third base. No extra run for you. They started off with 2 runners on and no outs. They end it with a runner on third stranded. That's like watching an Astros game. Not to be sarcastic or anything, but it's true. Astros start off with 2 on base, first and second, no outs. Next batter comes up, grounds into a double play. The runner on third gets stranded by the next batter. Can't tell you how many times I've seen stuff like that happen throughout the year. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Death before dishonor. Lobsters. Nothing but a bunch of lobsters. Lobsters. Lobsters everywhere. I wonder if I can pull up the game data on the MLB TV site because they have the best data. If they have the data, I'll be very happy about that. It's about 2:45 in the morning here now. We got a small crowd listening in at the moment, about 16. I appreciate you being here. We're on a commercial break right now in between innings. Well, halfway between the innings. Let's see here. Ah, I see. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, I can pull it up. Scooble back on the mound, gets a swing and a miss, and then another swing and a miss. It's 0-2. I just realized. Wow, swing and a miss. Rocchio goes down on 3 straight pitches. Good news, guys. I just got my all of my data back. All of the game data. All of my game data. I didn't think I had access to it, but now I do. That's what I like to see. Tommy Likey. Next batter at the plate. Johnsky Noel. Now we're cooking. I got all the game data. Heck yes. Tommy Likey. 99 way above the zone there. 1-1 is the count against Noel. Austin Hedges on deck and Stephen Kwan in the hole. Stop coming to my channel. 99. No, that was a 90 mile per hour changeup. My bad. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Noel. Oh, we got the split screen going on here. 100 miles an hour. Foul tip. Bounces out of the glove of the catcher. He'll get another pitch. 1-2. The count remains. Yeah, you're right, JD. If the Mariners rotation shows up, yeah, they'll probably just if they show up, they can just score a ton of runs. It doesn't matter what the pitchers do. But if their pitchers are decent and the hitters are showing up, then they'll win it out. They'll just win out, you know. But we'll see. You never know. They might go cold. Swing and a miss, and he loses his helmet. Scooble picks up another K. I believe that's 4. Kubel has struck out half of the pitchers he's faced. Austin Hedges comes to the plate. Definitely some lobsters. 94 at the bottom outside corner. Ball one. Now that I've got my data back on the screen, I can actually see the quote lobsters. Another changeup. 2-0. 2 outs for Skubal. Nobody on here in the bottom of the third. Here's the toss. 99 outside. 3-0. There comes the toss. 88 miles an hour outside on the fastball. Well, Skubal took a lot off of that. An 88 mile per hour fastball. He just kind of tried to glide it in there, but he missed by like 5 inches. The outside edge of the zone. A 4-pitch walk. That puts Hedges on first base. Stephen Kwan at the plate. Low and outside, 99 miles an hour. Now he brings the real heat. But that's another ball, 5 straight balls. Two outs, runner on first. 1-0 count. Here's the 35th pitch of the game for Skubal. It's opposite field, right at the left fielder, and that'll be out number 3. So they get a runner on, but the Guardians don't come up with anything. 3 hits for the Tigers, 1 for the Guardians. At the end of 3. Let's take a look at some of these stats right quick. Number of left on base. Guys left on base that weren't moved around. The Guardians have 2 lobsters. Tigers have 4. But the Tigers do have a run, so that's not too bad. You could say that's okay. That's okay. Gavin Williams will be back up on the mound in just a moment. He is up to 47 pitches, 33 in the zone. Spencer Torkelson due up at the plate in just a moment. He'll be followed by Riley Green and Winsel Perez. Make sure that you hit a like on that live stream. We've got a whopping 16 people watching right now. That's crazy. I'm used to such higher numbers. Maybe that will increase. I think it's maybe because this game is so early in the day. But if you're just listening in, thanks for joining, wherever you happen to be. I am in Hiroshima, Japan. I've been living in Japan now, getting close to 6 years. And I've been living in Asia, in East Asia, for, let's see, close to 16 years. No, close to 13 years. I'm sorry. Where did 16 come from? Coach says when he leaves something over the middle of the plate, we got to hit it. That's some good advice. Gavin Williams back on the mound. Here's the toss. 96 outside to Spencer Torkelson. YouTube having issues loading my chat on the screen. Here's the next pitch from Williams. Curveball above the zone. 2-0. Stop posting your trash in my chat. This is hit high into center field. He's right in the sun, but he puts it away. One down here in the top of the fourth. Riley Green due up now for the Tigers. Here comes the toss. Almost in the dirt there on the curveball. 1-0 to Riley Green. 0 for 1 today. Here comes the next toss from Williams. That's in there. Nice curveball. Just drops it in. 81 miles an hour. 52 pitches now. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. Here's the toss. 90 up and out. 2-1. The cutter missed. There's the next pitch. 91 on the inside. Fouled off down the first base side. It's 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, rung him up. Nice sweeper. Sweeper dropped it right in the bottom of the zone. Rung him up. That was a good toss. He stood there waiting to see what the umpire would do, but that was in there, buddy. I think that if Williams hadn't gotten that call, he would have freaked out. 96 up and out, swing and a miss. Winfield Perez at the plate, strike 1, 2 down, nobody on the base. Nobody on the base pads. Here comes the toss. Check swing on the outside edge. They say he did not go. 1-1 is the count. Here's the toss. Wow, that's ripped really hard into the upper deck on the right side. Foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of the fourth, the Tigers leading 1-0. Winfield Perez at the plate with a 1-2 count. He goes that another one. That one goes out into the upper deck on the right side. Perez trying to crank one out, looks like. Here's the toss. Right in there. Drops it in again on the curveball. Same location for that last strikeout. And Perez is the same result. That's the end of the top of the fourth. Guardian's going to come up to the plate in just a moment. It's 1-0 Detroit. 1 error on the Guardians and 1 hit. And that combination actually led to a whopping 0. But giving up the hit and the error in the first inning to the Tigers led to Detroit scoring 1 run, and that's where we stand right now going into the bottom of the fourth, 1-0 Tigers. Angel Martinez due up. Obviously a man of culture. Jose Ramirez on deck and Jonathan Rodriguez in the hole. It looks like I don't even have to remind people to like the live stream today. Everybody's on top of it. Got the same number of likes as viewers. Little bit of a commercial break going on right now. Top of the fourth coming up in just a moment. This game is moving along pretty quickly. Close to halfway finished already. I might be able to get myself a nice nap. If I'm not hungry and I have at least an hour between this game and the Yankees-Red Sox game, I might just be able to lie down and get myself a nap. Now they're talking with the Tigers. First pitch on the way. There's a bunt popped in the air down the first base side, and it drops for a foul ball. Strike one. Angel Martinez at the plate with an 0-1 count. Scuba looking for the call. He's got what he wants. Here comes the pitch. 99 on the inside edge. Strike two. Martinez calls timeout, steps out of the box. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Here comes the toss. Wow. It sounded like it broke something. 100 miles an hour. Up and in. He fouls it off. And it hit the camera back there. Yeah, there's the camera. Oh, wow. Yeah, it did break something. I was right. Look at that. I was right. It broke the lens of the camera. There's glass on the field, and they're out there cleaning it up right now. That's what it sounded like. I got good ears. I know my equipment. I know my broken equipment sounds. Hilarious. I wonder how much that lens costs. It also makes me wonder, is that supposed to be a breakable lens? Because if so, or an unbreakable lens, because if so, that's a cheap lens. But I don't think there is. It looks like they got a cover on it. Okay, so it's the cover that broke. I see. Crazy. Haven't seen that happen before. Clean it up, boy. There we go. We got two guys cleaning up and 3 guys supervising. That looks about right. Usually maybe it's 4 supervising. Yeah, you can see right there where it hit the camera. Wow. That glass shattered everywhere. I didn't see it whenever it happened, but when they show the replay, you can see the glass shatter. They're still picking up pieces out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got 7 guys back there. Look at the camera. That is a huge dustpan. Nothing like holding up a game because of equipment. Technology. If this were just a little league game, there would be no such problem. No pitch comm issues, no replay booth, no calling New York for a replay, no cameras getting broken. None of that nonsense. Just good old-fashioned baseball, baby. Kids crying and yelling and getting in fights. Here's the pitch. Outside, bounces away. Wild pitch. But nobody's on to capitalize. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mr. Martinez. Here's the toss. He bounces this one to the right side. It might be trouble. It's going to be an infield hit. A slow bouncer towards Torres, right past Scooble. Martinez is easily able to get to first base. Plenty of time to beat that out. 2-out base runner for Skubal and the Tigers. Angel Martinez on first base. That brings up Mr. Jose Ramirez. Mr. Dangerous. Here's the first pitch. Lower outside corner, strike one on the changeup. Angel says, just like Houston City. Houston City Cruise 4 watching more. Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. 0-1 pitch from Skubal on the way. 98 above the zone, 1-1. Angel, have you ever seen that meme where it shows a guy working? I think his name is Juan, according to the meme. Juan is working. It's a construction crew, and they got all these guys standing around. Have you seen that? I think it's pretty famous. 98 above the zone again. 2 balls and 1 strike. No outs. Guardians have the leadoff runner. Leadoff runner on first base. Skubal tosses it over to first. Not a serious throw. Ryan says, could 7 glass cleaners beat the Rockies? That's a deep question. Here's the toss. 91 in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss on the slider. Count is even 2-2. 20 watching now. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you hit that live stream like button, the little thumbs up below the video. I'd appreciate that. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jose Ramirez. Whoa, almost hit him. Did it get him? Almost. 100 miles an hour. And he came darn close to hitting Ramirez. It's a full count. 44 pitches now for Skubal. This is a very important pitch right here for Tarek Skubal. Here comes the 3-2. Bottom of the zone fouled off. Count remains 3-2. Broken bat. He's going to swap it out for a newbie. Angel Martinez on first base. He has an infield hit. He did not try to steal on that last pitch. I wonder if he's going to attempt it here. Looks like Skubal's watching him closely. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Whoa, too far inside, ball 4. I think Skubal's paying too much attention to the runner on first. And he makes a bad pitch to walk Ramirez. 2 runners on now for the Guardians. So the Tigers get 2 runners on earlier. Nothing comes of it. Let's see if the Guardians can do something here. They trail by 1. Here's the toss. Ooh, swing and a miss on an 88-mile-per-hour changeup below the zone. Jonathan Rodriguez at the plate. Gone golfing. Trying to get the sand wedge and dig that one out of the pit there. Out of the trap. 93 at the top of the zone, just a little above the zone. Called a strike. This umpire is a coin flip on those pitches. 0-2, just like that. It's interesting, Angel, in Japan, I don't see that. I don't see like 1 or 2 guys working and everybody else watching them. Never see that here. Everybody's doing something. 90 miles an hour, low and outside, swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout on Jonathan Rodriguez. Not even close. Low and outside. That's called a Diaz special. Here's the 50th pitch of the game for Skubal. 98, right in the dead center of the zone. Strike 1. Kyle Manzardo does have a single already today. Opportunity right here with the runner in scoring position. Here comes the toss. 99 miles an hour. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 5 straight strikes by Scooble. Angel Martinez at second base. Jose Ramirez at first. 0-2 to Manzardo. Here's the toss. 100 miles an hour on the outside edge. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 3-pitch strike followed by a 3-pitch strikeout. Or 3-pitch strikeout followed by a 3-pitch strikeout. So Scooble starts the inning off with an infield hit, a walk, and then 2 straight strikeouts. Kind of bipolar. Next batter at the plate is Gabriel Arias. He hits that one to right past the pitcher. They're going to go home. The Guardians try to get a little greedy and take home. A little infield fly right over the head of Scooble. The Guardians are going to challenge it. Immediately, they want to challenge. Scooble grabs it and fires it home as Martinez rushes around third and tries to score. We're going to see if he got in there. He's going to be safe. Yeah, he's going to be safe. It's going to be 1-1. Guardians get a run on the board. He was called out at home plate. But you can see his hand was clearly on the plate right there. Well before he got the tag. He's safe. This is definitely going to be turned over. The crowd is cheering. Both angles seem to make it obvious that he scored. He got his hand right next to the foot of the catcher, and the catcher did not tag him for quite a while. I don't know why the umpire didn't call him safe. This umpire leaves a little to be desired. They say he's safe, and he scores, so they overturn it. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. The Guardians have tied up the game. Angel Martinez, his greed pays off. Yeah, you can see it right there. It's because we don't have unions in Japan. It's also a cultural thing, too. Japanese are... Now, I wouldn't say that... Actually, Japan is not a very productive society. Something going on right now. The umpires are having a little discussion. Ah, okay. The Tigers are trying to say that Ramirez should go back to second base. He shouldn't be on third base. But I think he was already around second before the throw got home. And so I think he should stay on third. I agree with the Guardians. I think it should be runners on first and third. So the Tigers are arguing that Ramirez should not be on third base. Yep, they let him stay. They say it's right. He should be on third base. Runner at first and third. Runners at first and third. I think it's kind of a no-duh thing. Ramirez was already past second base before the ball ever even got home. So making him go back to second base wouldn't make any sense. The catcher should have had the foresight to throw it to third just in case. But he didn't. This is a bunt to the third base side. Scooble scoops it up. The Scooble scoop to get the third out. So Gavin Williams tries to get... I'm sorry, Gavin Williams. I was about to read the names on the screens here and they changed right in front of my face. Guardians try to get a little saucy there, a little trickery, and bunted it with runners on the corners and 2 outs down the first base side. Gavin, not Gavin Williams. Scooble scooped it up to first base for the 3rd out. Why would you do that? You got runners on the corners with 2 outs, and you lay down a bunt. Why would you do that? Rochio, why would you do that? If that was a coaching call, I question that call. I question it. All they needed was a single. If they'd gotten a single, they'd be leading the game right now. Madness. That's 4 innings of baseball, everyone. Tigers scored in the first thanks to an error, followed by a single. The Guardians have an infield hit, a walk, another bloop infield hit right over the head of the pitcher. And despite the recovery and the throw home, Angel Martinez scores to tie it up. 3 hits for each team, 1 error for the Guardians. It's 1-1. Top of the 5th is starting right now. Pretty interesting game so far. A lot of action. That was a pretty fun half inning of baseball. 84 on the inside. The curveball gets the strike. Gavin Williams back on the mound. That's pitch number 62, sorry. Dylan Dingler at the plate. 96 miles an hour on the outside. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Here comes 0-2 pitch. Another swing and a miss. 86 mile per hour sweeper. Gavin Williams gets the 3-pitch strikeout. This is definitely the game to win via pitchers. Whatever hitters manage to get to these pitchers, that's the team that's going to win. Zach McKinstry at the plate. First pitch to him is another swing and a miss. 4 straight strikes from Williams. The cutter in the low part of the zone. Here comes the next pitch. Wow, he takes that one. Curveball on the outside edge. Strike 2. 5 straight strikes from Gavin Williams. Here comes the toss. Above the zone, hit out into center field. Martinez is under it, and he grabs it, puts it away. Out number 2. Holding steady right now at about 20 people listening in, watching. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the channel. Here's the pitch. This is hit out into right field. The very first pitch is a single. No clean inning for Gavin Williams. Baez with the single on the very first pitch. Isn't that interesting? 6 straight strikes, 2 strikeouts in a row, and then a single right off the bat to right field. 1 on with 2 outs for Parker Meadows. Leadoff batter for the Tigers. Here's the toss. Check swing. Ball 1 low on the curveball. The 1-0 pitch after a long delay. 92 miles an hour, fouled off on the first base side. 1-1 is the count. Meadows batting .215 for the season. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Here's the toss. 96. Woo, man, called a strike. That one was about 90% out of the zone, below the bottom of the zone. Umpire has been calling that on a coin flip the whole game. 1-2 is the count with a runner on first. Here's the toss. Outside edge. Rung him up. Strike 3. Runner was stealing, but it doesn't matter. Johnsky Noel due up next. Austin Hedges and then Stephen Kwan. It's 1-1 at the end of 4.5. We are exactly halfway through this game. It doesn't feel like a 1-1 game, though. It's been so up and down. These pitchers, they'll get like 3 quick outs, back-to-back strikeouts, 3 up and 3 down, back-to-back 3-strike pitches or 3-pitch strikeouts. It's just crazy. And then the next inning, they start getting some traffic on the base, and they have to work out of it. Each inning seems to be a little different. They're keeping us interested, Ooh, need some more coffee. I'm only going to have 1 cup of coffee while I'm doing this game because when it's over, I need to try to get a nap if possible. I think I'm definitely not going to be eating anything between this game and the Yankees-Red Sox game. Yeah, I've got the scoreboard, but there aren't any other games. I've got it rigged up to show the latest score of the Texans game. That was a nice game the other day, 26-0. Nothing else going on. The Padres and the Cubs getting ready to get started here in just a little bit. So that will come up on the screen. That will show on the screen as that game moves forward. What I plan to do I might not do that. I don't know. I'll see. What I was thinking about doing is putting up the scoreboard, the live scoreboard, and letting it just continue to play through in between games. But we'll see. Scooble's first pitch at the bottom of the 5th is a slider, but he misses the mark. 1-0. Johnsky Noel swings the bat on that pitch. 87-mile-per-hour changeup. Strike 1. The count's even. His last at bat was a strikeout. Let's see if he does anything different this time. 99 fouls it off. 1-2 is the count. I like how the organ player plays the dun 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 dun, and then the crowd claps. Shh, shh. Swing and a miss. Changeup way outside, and he chased it. It's another strikeout for Scooble in the first out of the inning. Yeah, they're showing the that facial from Scooble to Fry. Austin Hedges at the plate, swinging a miss on the slider, 91 mile per hour pitch. 61 pitches now for Scooble. I think they just said that Scooble actually went to the hospital to tell Fry that he was sorry. 93, right in the bottom of the zone. Strike two. There comes the 0-2 pitch. Ah, he chases it in the dirt. What are you doing there, buddy? 8 strikeouts for Scooble now. Fifth inning's not even over yet. Stephen Kwan comes to the plate. Top of the batting order, back up for the Guardians. Angel Martinez is on deck and Jose Ramirez in the hole. 2 outs, nobody on. Let's see what Scooble does here. Kwan looked like he wanted to swing at the first one, but he held up 99 inside, ball one. Scooble wants to change the ball. He gets a new one. Next toss is right in there, 98 mile per hour fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kwan. That would be strike Kwan. Strike Kwan. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fouls that one off. Strike 2. 1-2 is the count. 2 outs. Nary a soul on base for Stephen Kwan. Here's the toss. He bounces this one opposite field. McKinstry snatches it up and fires over to first. Man, Kwan is fast, but he's not able to beat that out. Still 1-1. And that's the end of 5 in Cleveland. Going into the top of the 6th, Gavin Williams will be back up on the mound, facing Gleyber Torres, followed by Kerry Carpenter and Spencer Torkelson. For those of you who are listening right now, if you are first-time listeners, I'd like to know where you're listening from. Our regular Astros audience is from all over the world, actually. I am in Hiroshima, Japan. I know that I've got listeners all over Houston, San Antonio, a few different places in Texas. But from there, also some listeners in Louisiana, where I was born. And even in Dallas, some listeners in Seattle, a very hostile environment for Astros fans. And beyond the U.S., I have listeners in Europe, in South America. I haven't had anybody check in from Africa, anywhere in Africa yet, but maybe one of these days somebody will say, I'm listening in from Africa. We'll see. I've got several listeners in Asia and in East Asia. There are a couple of places that I want to check off. One of these days, I want to hear from somebody in Antarctica. That would be cool. That would be amazing. Somebody listening into a broadcast of my game in Antarctica. That would be crazy. We are back. Top of the sixth. About to start right now. Williams back up on the mound with 71 pitches under his belt. Facing Gleyber Torres. Here's the toss. Check swing in the dirt. Does he go? They say he did. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 95. He fouls that one off. Oh, and 2, just like that. Both of these pitchers, you get down 0-2, it's difficult to climb out of that hole. Another 86 sweeper below the zone, but he fouls that one off and stays alive. Goldilocks says San Diego in the house. Great. On the inside, barely got a piece of it. Count remains 0-2. Goldilocks, who are you pulling for? Are you a fan of either one of these teams, or do you like someone else? I mean, if you're in San Diego, I wonder if you are a fan of any of the Los Angeles teams, or you're just in California, not of California. Here comes 0-2 pitch again. He hits that one out into center field, but it looks playable. Angel Martinez puts it away. One down. Kerry Carpenter due up next. 7 strikeouts for Gavin Williams. 8 strikeouts for Tarek Skubal. The inning isn't over yet. Maybe he'll pick up another one or two. Swing and a miss, speaking of strikes. Curveball, 81 miles an hour, lower inside corner. Carpenter can't get the wood on it. 1 for 2 today. He calls timeout, steps out of the box. Wants to reconsider his stock options. Here's the toss. Same pitch again in the same spot, just a little lower. Curveball, lower inside corner, swing and a miss. 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Williams. In the dirt. That was another curveball. He tried to get him to bite a third time, but that one was even lower than the last one. So he started off on the lower inside corner, and then below the lower inside corner, and then that one was just flat out in the dirt. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Sweeper on the outside. Misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 80 pitches now for Gavin Williams. Let's see what Gavin is given this time. That one was way up and out. The cutter missing high and outside. I think he should have just stuck with the curveball low and inside. Just keep pitching what works. Wow, so much beer in the stands right now. Here comes the full count pitch. Just above the zone and hit pretty well out to left field all the way to the wall. And he makes the catch right at the wall. Carpenter went opposite field all the way out to the wall in left field. But the park held it. Two away. First pitch to Spencer Torkelson. It's a swing and a miss on that pitch right down the middle. .240 batting average for the year with 31 homers. Low and outside, check swing, and they say he went. That did not look like a strike at all, but that's an 0-2 count. The crowd is coming to their feet. They want a strikeout right here. Gavin Williams looking for the pitch that he wants. Long delay. He finally goes into his windup. Check swing low and outside, and they say he went around again. Really? He's not happy about that. Gavin Williams happy about it. They didn't show a replay on either one of those check swings. I wasn't really convinced by those calls, but it is what it is. Right now, Skubal and Williams are tied up with the same number of strikeouts, 8 and 8. Skubal has the slight edge in walks. He's only given up 1. Williams has given up 2. But Skubal has given up 4 hits, where Williams has given up 3. It's 1-1. We're going into the bottom of the 6th. Skubal's up to 66 pitches, 45 strikes in the zone. Angel Martinez is due up, followed by Jose Ramirez and Jonathan Rodriguez. Whenever these guys, I see these guys in a game and I get them back to back to back in the batting order, I start to get confused, remembering who's who. Martinez, Ramirez, Rodriguez. I often get their names mixed up. Pretty crazy. Soccer commercials. By the way, there is a really nice new soccer stadium here in Hiroshima. It's called Peace Wing. Edion Peace Wing. Edion is a large, famous appliance and electronics chain in Japan. They're all over the place. They are the sponsor of the Hiroshima soccer team. The stadium itself is Peace Wing Stadium, but it looks really cool. I haven't been inside yet. Angel Martinez shows bunt, but pulls it back. But 98 miles an hour, called strike on the inside. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the next pitch. 99 on the outside edge, and he fouls it off, and he's down in the count. 0-2. It got kind of chilly here tonight. Oh, and 2 count. Here's the pitch. Whoa, that's hit hard out to left field. Is it going to get down? No, just foul. Right in the corner. Looks like Martinez broke his bat. He's going to swap it out for a newbie. Why is this hat suddenly difficult to get on straight? Pitch number 70 on the way for Skubal. 100 fouled off. Count remains 0-2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Leadoff batter at the plate. Angel Martinez with the 0-2 count. 85, right below the zone. He goes after it and fouls it off into the crowd on the left side. Count remains 0-2. I'm actually going to have to turn my hat around. Needed to be comfortable. 92, up and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, I need to be able to move my head back some more. Oh, here comes a 1-2 pitch. 92 right in there, but fouled off. Martinez staying alive. 1 for 2 today for a nice, wholesome 500 batting average and a 1.000 OPS. Here comes the next toss. Chase that one low. Strikeout on the changeup. That was a few inches below the zone. That looked like a Yainer Diaz strikeout right there. And that's strikeout number 9 for Skubal. 93 up and outside. The first pitch to Jose Ramirez. There's a 1-0 pitch. 98 on that upper outside corner, but just a little out of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. That was a good take and a good call by the ump. 88 on the outside edge. Hits straight up in the air to right field. He looks like he lost it in the sun there for a second, but he's able to recover and put it away. 2 down. Jonathan Rodriguez comes to the plate. 1 more out, and we'll be done with the 6th inning. Here's the toss. Low and outside. The changeup misses for ball 1 to Rodriguez. Next pitch coming from Skubal. 91 on the outside edge, strike 1. Nice looking slider. This next pitch will be Skubal's 80th of the game. The count is even, 1-1. Rodriguez loses his hat. And man lost his hat. His helmet comes off on that swing. Regular season batting 197. Man, why do both of these teams have so many players with worse batting averages than the Astros players? And yet the Astros are not in the playoffs. It kills me. It makes me wonder how much they're relying on their pitchers. Curious. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. Should be 10 strikeouts now for Skubal. 9? I thought that was 10. Wow. But that's it for the 6th inning. We're still tied at 1. 4 hits for the Tigers, 3 for the Guardians. No errors for the Tigers, 1 for the Guardians. That's how many runs are on the board for each team, 1-1. It has definitely been a pitcher's duel so far. You have to kind of give the edge, though, I think. Kind of have to give the edge to Williams, Gavin Williams. And here's why. Because that run that the Tigers got in the first inning, that wouldn't have happened if not for the error. And that wasn't his fault. It's an unearned run. But the run that the Guardians got in the 4th, that's an earned run. So in that regard, you can say that Gavin Williams is having a better day. Also, he's only given up 3 hits compared to Scooble's 4. So he's having a slightly better day. As far as stats are concerned. Jonathan Rodriguez. Kyle Lanzardo and Gabriel Arias. Why are they listed on the screen? I'm waiting for the Tigers batters. I guess they'll be up momentarily. Got about 20 people listening in right now. Thank you very much. There's a commercial break currently. Lots of good pitching going on right now from Scooble and Williams. Riley Green at the plate for the Tigers. First pitch to him is a cutter up and outside for ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. This is hit out into right center field. Looks like that's going to get down. They're going to be a double. Extra base hit. Riley Green on the second pitch cranks it out to right center field. That's hit number 5 for the Tigers. Nice swing. What are you cutting? Sawing some logs? Are you sleepy? Pitching coach comes out to the mound and they have a little infield powwow. Umpire pulls up his pants and heads out there. All right, guys, let's break it up, he says. Hunter Gaddis is warming up in the bullpen for the Guardians. Obviously a ploy to give him a little bit of time to get warm. This would be an opportunity to bunt, that's for sure, compared to earlier, which was a terrible time to bunt. Winsfield Perez at the plate. He's not bunting. He hits it off the glove of the first baseman. It's going to be a hard play at first. They call him safe. What happened? Did Noel not catch the ball? Green goes over to third base, so he advances. But I'm not quite sure why they called him safe at first base. The ball definitely got there first. Did his leg ever touch the bag? Man, it's hard to tell. Well, his leg, though, was his leg touching the bag? Wow. Hey, that's going to be it for Gavin Williams. They're going to take him out. Amazing. What a strange start to the top of the 7th. A double to right center field. And then immediately after that, an infield rocket off the glove of the first baseman, ricochets to the second baseman, throws it over to first, but the throw pulls him off the bag. Neither his foot nor his glove got to the bag in time. He was called safe. And they do not challenge the play because they can't clearly see that any part of his body touched that bag. So now the Tigers have runners on the corners with no outs. Gavin Williams is being taken out of the game. Wow. Pretty interesting. Interesting stuff. Very interesting. Is it Sam Bachman that's coming in the game? Oh, I see why I can't see that. I see. Let me move that around. Let me move that there. Move my camera around. There. All right. Hunter Gaddis is on the mound. First pitch is in there for a strike. Dylan Dingler at the plate, 0 for 2 today. Dingler batting 7th in the lineup today. Tigers have runners on the corners with no outs. Fastball high, 1-1. Oh, Angel, I've been messing with my interface here. I see your comment. It's going to be a bullpen game for the looks of it. Well, it might be for the rest of the game, but we'll see. Here's the toss. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. Out number 1 on that strikeout. So Hunter Gaddis comes in with 2 runners on and no outs. Starts the first batter off with a strikeout. There's a bunt. Detroit takes the lead. McKinstry scores on the sacrifice bunt. I was wondering what took him so long to do that. Small ball. Only play was to first base. Runner on second with 2 outs. There's a grounder to the shortstop, and he fires over to first base. A terrible throw, but a great diving catch by the first baseman, and he keeps his foot on the bag to get the 3rd out. But the Tigers reclaim the lead. It's 2-1 going into the bottom of the 7th. What a strange inning. The interesting things continue. The entertainment continues. I've got a lot more information on the board here than what is showing on the screen, actually. I can show you what I mean. There we go. See that? Yeah, there's a lot more information showing on the screen. There, I had to make some modifications to it. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was the... I don't need that on the screen. I need to eliminate that. So I can move. I can move my image right there. There we go. That's better. I didn't realize. I was wondering where all of my information was, because now I have my scoreboard set up to where the pictures are automatically showing on the screen. And I was trying to figure out, why are my pictures not showing on the screen? I just realized they are. They are showing on the screen. It just wasn't displaying because I didn't have it lined up properly. But it's all good now. The only thing that is not showing is the ERA, the proper ERA for the game. It does have the innings pitched and the strikeouts, but not the ERA. So I need to look into that. But other than that, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. Now that I have the automatic pictures updated in my code, I don't have to manually put them in. So that's nice. Little bit of a commercial break. Bottom of the seventh coming up. The Guardians are going to have an opportunity to answer. The Guardians have not been able to lead this game yet. They tied it up when it was 1-0. They came back and scored. Tigers have reestablished a lead. The Tigers have 1 run on an error and 1 earned run in the 7th. Gaddis gave it up, but it was Williams' charged earned run. We're about to kick off the bottom of the 7th. Kyle Manzardo at the plate for the Guardians. Scooble's still on the mound for the Tigers. Here's a toss. 99 right in there. He does have 10 strikeouts. I was right. The commentators for this game were wrong. They said 9. I said 10. I was right. Take that. 100 miles an hour fastball right in the middle of the plate. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Wacky. Manzardo does not take a timeout. Here's the 0-2 pitch. 100 in the middle of the zone again. Fouls it off. Count stays 0-2. Of course. Of course. Scooble gets the call. Here comes the pitch. 101. Fouled off. 101 miles per hour at the top of the zone. Scooble is throwing harder and harder, and he's up to 86 pitches now. Here comes the toss. Way outside on the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2. 100 check swing. Got him. Strike 3. 1 down. Gabriel Arias comes to the plate. Looks like the Curbs are getting ready to start their game. They're warming up. First pitch is a strike. The changeup right in there to Arias. Here's the 90th pitch of the game for Skubal, above the zone. Ball one. Kind of stumbled off the mound. Looks like he lost his footing there. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Arias swings and misses. 90 miles an hour at the top of the zone. That's about the best you're going to get right there, I think. 90-mile-per-hour pitch right in the top of the zone. Here comes a 1-2. 100 miles an hour above the zone. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. Twelve strikeouts now for Tarek Skubal. Next pitch, high and outside on the slider. Brian Rocchio, or Brian Rocchio, 1-0, 90. That was a little above the zone, but called a strike. 1-1. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the seventh. Skubal trying really hard to make sure that the Gardenians don't come back. Fouled off. 1-2 is the count. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. 13 strikeouts for Skubal. 101 miles per hour. Up and in. And he's fired up. Yeah, he's very, very, very fired up. That dude is lit. 13 freaking strikeouts for Tarek Skubal. That's nuts. In 7 innings. That's almost 2 strikeouts per inning. That's nuts. Top of the 8th coming up. 2-1. The Tigers are winning this game in Cleveland. This crowd has gone pretty quiet. They're starting to get nervous. I can feel it. 6 hits for the Tigers, 3 for the Guardians. Tigers are going to have another chance here in just a moment to put some insurance runs up. We'll see if they do. Pretty interesting game. It's nice to actually see a game that's low scoring that has a lot of interesting things going on. Normally the low scoring games are snooze fests. But this one has been relatively interesting. And that's necessary for me. It's 4 o'clock in the morning here. If it's not interesting, I'll be sleepwalking at the mic. 2 more innings of ball. If I'm lucky, heck, I might be able to be asleep by 4:30. This game is moving by pretty quick. Could be less than 2.5 hours long. That'd be nice. A really quick game 1. That means I might be able to sleep. I might actually be able to get a 2-hour nap before the Yankees-Red Sox game. That'd be awesome. Tommy Likey. Hunter Gaddis still on the mound for the Guardians. Parker Meadows at the plate. Here's the first pitch. Just a little outside. Ball 1 on the slider. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. In the dirt. Ball 2. Here comes the next toss. Low and inside on the inside lower corner, but called ball 3. It's 3-0. Eric Sabrowski is warming up in the bullpen for the Guardians. Here comes the next pitch. That one's in there. 94 in the bottom of the zone, 3-1. Parker Meadows is over 2 today. He might be able to get on base with a walk here. Let's see what he does. Swing and a miss there. 89 miles an hour on the slider. Nice pitch. Full count. And that's the first time I've heard the crowd cheer in quite a while. They've been completely dead until that pitch. Fouled at the plate. A brief cheer from the crowd as they thought he struck out. We'll have another full count pitch in just a minute. I do appreciate everyone stopping in. I know it's early in the day for most of you. If you are in the U.S., it's 4:05 here. 4:05 in the morning for me. Here's a toss. 88 on the outside edge. Rings him up. Rings him up for strike 3. A full count strikeout. He stood there and took it. Was hoping for a walk. Didn't get it. 1 down. Gleyber Torres comes to the plate next. Here comes the pitch. Fouls it back. 0-1 is the count to Torres. Here's the pitch. A little far inside on the changeup. 1-1 is the count. Another whopping 256 batting average at the plate right now. Here's the pitch to Torres. 88 in the bottom of the zone, fouls it off. 1-2 is the count. One and 2 is the count. Torres is back in the box. Gaddis up on the rubber. He's got the pitch. Here he comes. Woo! Slider on the outside edge. He thought that was strike 3, but he missed it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was close. It was a good call by the ump. It was not there. Here's the 2-2 toss. Too far inside. That one missed by a substantial margin. Full count again. There comes a full count pitch. 95 up and in on the fastball. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. That's 3 for Gaddis. Man. Gaddis doesn't look too happy. They're going to come out and pull him. Bring in the lefty. Terry Carpenter on deck. Gaddis had a pretty good outing there. He's not happy about coming out, but it looks like they want to go with the lefty. For Carpenter. Carpenter's 1 for 3 today. Gonna have a little break while we wait for that change out. Yeah, I think that today the average view count for this stream is going to be around 20. That's actually much lower than what I was expecting. But now that I think about it, it might kind of make sense since it's an early game, an afternoon game, an afternoon wild card game on a Tuesday. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense. But the ones who are listening in, I thank you for being here. I really do. The main thing is that I got some requests to do these playoff games, and I had some subscribers donate specifically for that purpose. And at first, I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do it. The reason is because the cost. There's a cost for doing the subscription, and it is not cheap. It is not cheap. Typically, you have to do a full season. You have to buy the whole year, and it's not cheap. Now, in Japan is actually substantially cheaper than in the US. So, I'm lucky about that. Plus, there's no blackout on anything. So, I don't have to worry about not being able to get a hold of any games, but my package that I had before was for the Astros only. So paying for another MLB package just to view the playoff games. 87, swing and a miss right in there. Eric Sabrowski in the game for the Guardians to face Kerry Carpenter. Nobody on with 2 outs. Terrible swing there. Strike 2, 1-2's the count. Landon, I'm doing a lot of the playoff games. I can't do every playoff game because that would be just too much for me. But I am going to do the Red Sox and Yankees game today. 95 fouled off by Carpenter. The count remains 1-2. But Landon, I will tell you this, that if you turn notifications on, I know you're subscribed because you can't talk to me unless you're subscribed. If you want to turn on the notifications for my channel, then whenever I have a new live scheduled, you can get it. Strikeout. That's another strikeout for the Guardians pitchers. And that's the end of the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Guardians down 2-1 to the Tigers. Skubal's up to 96 pitches. Do you think he'll come in for the bottom of the 8th? I know he probably wants to. But whether he will or not, we don't know. He looked good all the way up into the 7th. It depends on how he feels, but we will see. But Landon, I will definitely do the games that I can do. I see that you got the Yankees logo, so I'm guessing you're a Yankees fan. Landon says, sounds good. I wish the Astros would have made it, man. Made me sad. Well, I appreciated it. It made me a little sad too. But it's one of those things that it has to happen sometime. You can't be riding the wave all the time. You get into like that there are some songs that I think about, that old song, Back in the High Life Again. You start to have that high life, you start to ride that wave, you do good for a while, and then you start to kind of slip off. And if you're not able to adjust, if the Astros organization are not able to adjust and come back, then they could struggle for a few years as they try to rebuild. I mean, because the honest truth right now is that the Astros have multiple problems to deal with: managing, pitching, medical staff, pitching, coaching, or especially the batting coaches, and then players, and salary issues, injuries. You name the problem, the Astros have it. Skubal is still on the mound. That's his 97th pitch right there. Johnsky Noel at the plate. Doug says Guardians are playing with a lot of confidence. Could come back. Are they playing with confidence on defense? Offense not looking good. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Skubal is owning them right now. Seems like he's throwing harder and more aggressive as the game goes on. In the dirt, swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout on the changeup, and the crowd is booing right now. 14 strikeouts for Skubal, and he struck out 8 of the last 9 batters. The Guardians' bats are getting completely owned at the moment. Landon says, I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm telling you, if Yordan Alvarez was healthy, y'all make the playoffs. Possibly. Possibly. It's still a coin toss, man, because I called almost every single game the Astros had this year, and there's one thing that I can tell you for sure, and that is the bats are a total coin toss. 89 above the zone, 2-0. Austin Hedges at the plate. Yeah, JD knows. JD says we have glaring holes on our team. Yeah, all around. The Astros are literally Swiss cheese. If a baseball team is a big block of cheese, then the Astros are Swiss. Because it's not just one area, it's multiple areas. 97 right in the middle of the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Cleveland only has a few more opportunities. Here's the pitch. 90 right in the inside edge there. Man, after getting way behind in the count, 3-0, Skubal comes back with 2 strikes. Here's the toss. In the dirt, ball 4. 105 pitches now for Skubal. It makes me wonder if they're going to pull him out, or if they're going to have a little meeting on the mound. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Hinch? You're a mean one, Mr. Hinch. I don't know why I just thought of that. Runner on first base. The tying run is on first base for the Guardians. Go ahead, run at the plate. Stephen Kwan, dangerous hitter with 1 out. Here's the tossed. The tossed. High and outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. He bounces it to Skubal, bounces off his glove, and he's able to recover and get it over to first base. So Kwan is out at first for the 2nd out. But now the Guardians have a runner on second base. And that's going to be it. Skubal's done. 107 pitches for Skubal. 73 in the zone. He strikes out 14. And he goes 7 2/3 of an inning. I'm surprised he didn't stay in there for one more batter. We're going to take a short break here while they let the new pitcher warm up. Let's get back to the live chat and see what you guys are saying. Landon says Johnsky Noel is Big Christmas, but he's hitting a home run my Yankees. Oh man, I'm sure that you have some bad memories of Altuve. It seems like there's just something about the big stage, you know, whenever they go to play teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers in those famous ballparks. Altuve just steps up his game, you know. It's amazing to see. JD says, don't get me wrong, I like Jordan, but our issues run much deeper than Jordan alone can fix. I do agree with JD 100%. Jordan does add a lot to our lineup, but the problem is if our lineup has systemic hitting issues, then Jordan can't possibly save that. He's not enough. Now, Jordan, it, of course, Jordan can hit the ball. He can get on base. And of course, he can hit it over the fence. And of course, he can get extra base hits and drive in runs. Of course. But some of those things rely on the Astros around him getting hits and getting on base. And whether they do that or not is a complete 100% coin flip from game to game. I mean, go back and look at what they did. They swept the Rangers at home. And then in the very next series, they got swept by the Mariners. The crazy thing is that the Astros relievers had like a 1.19 ERA against the Mariners. Can you believe that? And the Astros didn't win a single game. And the whole reason is because they couldn't hit the ball. They couldn't hit the ball and drive in runs. And when they got people on base, they couldn't bring them home. Just stranding runners right and left. That's the Astros. So it doesn't matter how healthy Jordan is. We could have two Jordans, but if everybody else in the lineup stays the same, we're going to be in the same boat, you know? I don't know what's going on here. Some kind of communication device issue. That's something you don't see very often. The home plate umpires. So, yeah, they're showing the broken camera earlier, but the home plate umpire's mask somehow got broken. They had to replace that. This game is breaking everything. These guys need to hurry and finish the game so I can get myself a nap. And it says, I just want to see at least the Yankees games. They play a 3-game series against Boston. And if the Yankees ever get knocked out, I'm going to basketball and football. Yeah. I'm moving to football. I'm making the transition to football and then later basketball myself, because between now and next baseball season, if I don't do football and basketball, my channel will essentially be dead. My other option is to create long form videos, but they just don't do well enough. And my station, that's fouled off down the first baseline. Bo Naylor at the plate. He breaks his bat and he's going to get another one. There's a runner on second base with 2 outs for the Guardians. Naylor is scrubbing his bat. But actually, because my channel is based around live play-by-play, primarily live play-by-play, if I'm not doing live play-by-play in October, November, December, January, February, March, then my channel's pretty much dead. No amount of long-form videos and shorts are going to make my channel sustainable. So I had to make the move to football and basketball. Naylor hits it over to first base, and that's an easy routine play for the first baseman. Out number 3. So the Guardians don't get anything despite threatening with the runner on. Score remains 2-1 Tigers. We're going into the top of the ninth. We're in the home stretch now. 5 hits for the Tigers, 3 for the Guardians. The Guardians have struck out an amazing 14 times. The Tigers themselves have struck out 12 times. 26 strikeouts in this game. Eric Sabrowski may be still on the mound for the Guardians. Spencer Torkelson is due up, followed by Riley Green and Winfield Perez. We'll see if that remains unchanged. Yeah, JD's also right about that. Jordan is injury prone. I made a joke the other day in my live stream, but I stick by it. I stand by my comment that, Jordan is a big guy and he's strong. I'm 6'2". So Jordan is a little bit taller than me. He's like, 3 inches? I think he's like 6'5" or something like that. He's a little bit taller than me. He's obviously in much better shape than I am. And I'm in a very weakly state. I'm anemic and fighting various issues with my health. So my energy, my power is very, very low. Somebody like Jordan could just destroy me with one hit. But I think I could beat Jordan in a fight. Because if we got into a fight, like MMA style, I would just kick him right in the shin. He would crumple like a wilted flower. That's how easy he can be injured. Landon says, I got an Altuve and Jordan Alvarez jersey, but I live in Southeast Texas, so the only baseball team I can go to is the Astros, so I'm forced to like them as a second team. What should I do until we each play? Well, that must be nice, though, whenever the Yankees come to town. That's got to be fun. I always like to see some of those big out-of-town teams come whenever I was a kid. Whoa, very first pitch. Cade Smith is on the mound for the Guardians, and he hits Spencer Torkelson on the very first pitch. That's not a good start to the top of the ninth. Hey, I'm sorry about that. That was not my plan, Coach. That was not the strategy. When I was living in Houston as a kid, the main games that I got to see were against the Dodgers and the Cubs because those are my brother and sister's favorite teams. Oh, there. I can't stand. You can't stand that. Yeah, of course. I think so. Yankees fans really hate the Red Sox, right? I think that's the number one team that they can't stand. And I'm sure that the feeling is mutual with Red Sox fans. 2 balls and no strikes to Riley Green. Runner on first base with no outs. Here's the next pitch from Cade Smith. That's in there. 84 miles an hour on the splitter, 2-1. I like the Rockets and Minnesota Timberwolves in basketball, and I like the Panthers and Steelers in football. You got quite the mix of teams. That's pretty interesting. Sounds like my dad. My dad likes a variety of teams. But the reason he likes those teams, it's so interesting. Like, he likes the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's because Terry Bradshaw. That's because of Terry Bradshaw, but Bradshaw hasn't been with them in a really, really long time. So it's like, what? He just kind of established that like of the Steelers because of Bradshaw, and that never changed. That foul ball makes the count 3-2. Riley Green facing off against Cade Smith with no outs. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. 96 fouled off. Riley Green. Torkelson on first base after getting hit by pitch. Full count to Green. Low and inside, ball 4. 2 runners on for the Tigers in the top of the ninth with no outs. Winfield Perez due up. It's going to draw a little visit to the mound, and rightly so. Doug says losing Kyle Tucker and Bregman were big factors this year. Yeah, isn't it crazy? I know that Bregman did get injured for a little while, and of course he was out and didn't do as hot after that. But Bregman was on fire for a while with the Red Sox. I was like, man, why couldn't you have done that for the Astros last year? I can say that I was happy that we got Paredes in place of Bregman. I was really wondering if he was going to be able to win me over because Bregman has a really good glove at third base. And I have a soft spot in my heart for Bregman because he played at LSU. But I just felt like he was being too greedy with his contract. And he bunts it. They're going to have to go to first base, and they get him at first. So that moves the runners over to second and third with one out. Perez does his job, and Dylan Dingler comes to the plate. But yeah, losing Kyle Tucker during the season really hurt a lot, I think. It really did. Really did hurt a lot. But of course, who knows how the season would have gone, even with Tucker, the way the Astros were playing this year. I mean, they had Tucker last year, and we only had one more win than this year. Last year we had 88, and we barely got into the wild card at the end. 2 straight pitches high to Dylan Dingler. It's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Runners on second and third. Cade Smith dealing to Dylan Dingler. Dealing to Dylan Dingler. 96 right in there, 2-1. Yeah, these are 2 division rivals. They don't take, yeah, division rivals don't typically get any love. Give or get any love, right? Swing and a miss on the fastball. Guardians have a righty and a lefty warming up in the bullpen. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Dingler. He hits that one broken bat to second base and a diving catch. Beautiful defensive play by Rocchio. Nobody is able to advance. You have to say hats off to the Tigers on their base running. That was not just a great defensive play on the infield. That was great base running and discipline on the Tigers' part, because that could have been a double play. Runners at second and third held their ground. 2 down. Zach McKinstry now due up. 0 for 2 today. Here comes a pitch from Smith. 97 on the inside, strike 1. That's interesting. Landon. 97 at the top of the zone, fouled off, and the count's 0-2. Landon says his dad's a Steelers fan, so that's why I like him. And my dad is a Rockets fan and Astros fan, so there you go. It sounds very similar to my dad, although my dad really never cared too much about baseball. Or basketball, really. He was just a football guy. Actually, I have no idea. My dad has never even said which team he likes. Now, whenever the Dodgers would play, we'd watch them, or the Astros would be on. We'd watch them because me and my mom were the Astros fans. 97 miles an hour at the top of the zone, fouled off again. The count remains 0-2. My brother was the Dodgers fan, so that's why we watched them. And my sister was a Cubs fan, although she really wasn't a baseball fan so much. She just grew up liking the Cubs because they're cute. They're the Cubs. Strike three. In the dirt, he throws it over to first base, and that's it. Wow, how about that? Cade Smith starts off really rough in that inning by hitting a batter and then walking a batter. Runners get bunted over to second and third with one out, and Cade Smith comes back and gets the next two outs to get the Guardians out of the inning. That was a really rough top of the ninth. But now, in the bottom of the ninth, the Guardians are down to their last three outs. They've got to either tie it up with one run or walk it off with two. What are they going to do? I don't know. How about you? Who knows? Will Vest appears to be the guy that's going to be on the mound for the Tigers. Jose Ramirez is due up, followed by Jonathan Rodriguez and Kyle Manzardo. Landon wants to know, what would be your prediction for the Yankees and Red Sox game series? You know, to be honest, I really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won the series. I would expect the wild card series is so short, right? It's just a couple of games. Very, very important to win those two games. Very important. It's terrible because you lose just one game and then it's like you're almost done, right? You're almost done. And the Yankees and the Red Sox, I think they're very similar in that either one of those teams has the ability to come out and have a really great game or come out and make a lot of mistakes or have a really bad game. And when you put two teams together like that, it's difficult to make a guess. If I were to bet, I wouldn't even know who to bet on, to be honest. Maybe I would have to go back and look and see who finished stronger recently, and then that's who I would bet on, I guess. But I will say this. The Yankees have several guys who can blast the ball, and they have Aaron Judge. So maybe I would give the edge to them because I'm not a Yankees fan, but I do like Judge. I don't have anything against him. Jose Ramirez at the plate. That changeup is outside. That's the second pitch. It's 1-1. This is it for the Guardians, the bottom of the ninth. That's hit up the middle. Diving stop by the shortstop. A terrible throw to first base, and it gets by him. Ramirez is going to go to second base on the throwing error, and he's going to third. He's able to stretch it out all the way to third. Holy freaking cow. Holy cow. What a turn of events. An amazing diving stop by the shortstop. And he makes a terrible throw in the dirt to the first baseman. The ball goes bouncing over. Look at this. He makes the great stop. Throw in the dirt. First baseman can't handle it. And it takes them so long. Look at this hustle by Ramirez. He's off immediately. And he gets waved around all the way to third base. Loses his helmet. And he gets into third standing up. Holy freaking cow. Ramirez on third with no outs. Swing and a miss, low and inside. George Valera, or is it Jorge? It's with a G, so I guess it's George. Valera is pinch hitting at the plate. 0-1 is the count. High and outside, ball one. Counts even. Ryan Dude says, goodness. Goodness indeed. Goodness indeed. Here comes a 1-1 pitch from Vest. Woo, 87 on the inside. Slider. Swing and a miss. Strike two. starting to get down to the nitty-gritty right here. I appreciate your likes on the live stream, you guys and gals, if you've not liked it already. Count is 1 and 2 with runner on third. No outs. Valera, the crowd thought that that was the pitcher stepping off the mound. They booed, but actually that was the batter, Valera. Here's the toss. 95 in the upper part of the zone, fouled off. He stays alive, 1 and 2. Here's the toss. Low and inside. Ball 2. Counts even. Valera was just called up to the major leagues exactly 1 month ago. Well, I say exactly 1 month ago. For me, it's exactly 1 month ago here in Japan, but for you guys. Ooh, swing and a miss. 90-mile-per-hour slider below the zone, or a changeup, rather. That's the first out of the inning. Look at this. This was filthy. Goodness gracious me. Heavens to Murgatroyd. 2 more outs to get that run in. 88 miles an hour on the inside edge to Manzardo. .234 batting average, 27 home runs this year. Kyle Manzardo versus Will Vest with 1 out and a runner on third in the bottom of the 9th. 96 fouled off. Guardians need to either lose right here or walk it off, because I do not want extra innings. I want to get some sleep. I can nap for almost 2 hours. 0-2 is the count. Here's the toss. This is a bouncer right back to the pitcher. They got the guy on third base in a rundown. They tag him out and they get him. Ramirez gets caught trying to go home. The Guardians lose their runner on third base. Manzardo's on first base. And this crowd gets the wind taken out of them. The chopper right back to the pitcher. And all he had to do was run over and tag him. Terrible base running there. Absolutely terrible base running by Jose Ramirez. Now we have 2 down. Arias comes to the plate. No, Kafis is batting for Arias. And he hits this one straight up into the air. Who's going to get it? Shortstop calls for it, and he puts it away, and that's out number 3. Just like that. Just like that. Can you believe it? It ended so fast. Yeah. Ryan says Jose Ramirez or Jose Altuve running. It looked like it, right? It looked like it. That's going to be the game, folks. 2-1. The Tigers win. The Tigers pull it off. It looked like the Guardians were going to at least tie it up. They start off with a massive gift. What started off as a ground out on a great catch by the shortstop turned into a throwing error, and Jose Ramirez got all the way around to third base as a leadoff with no outs. And then from there, they just proceeded to break down. The Guardians lost. Man, the crowd was so amped up, but as soon as Ramirez got picked off, I guess you could say he got locked up halfway between third and home. The pitcher, all he had to do was run over and tag him. And that was out number 2. From there, fly ball, the inning over. Yeah, actually, it was my bad. Manzardo had a pinch hitter come in. It was Schneeman. Sorry about that, Doug. I didn't see it. The information didn't update on the screen, so I didn't see that. But Schneeman, Daniel Schneeman, came in for Manzardo, but still a bat at bat. You're right about that. I mean, they could have tried to bunt him in to tie up the game at least. They could have tried that, and they didn't. Kind of crazy. Let's take a quick look at those stats. We're going to run over them really quickly. Looks like San Diego's up over the Cubs 1-0. I'm expecting San Diego to beat the Curbs and kick them out of the wild card. Yeah, let's take a quick look at the summary of this game, because this was a tremendous pitching game by both sides. The Tigers scored in the first when Torkelson scored. Torkelson singled and scored Carpenter. Carpenter was on as a result, or he was on second base as a result of an error. If not for that, the Tigers wouldn't have had that run. In the fourth, Arias singled to the pitcher, scoring Martinez, and they tied it up. But McKinstry hit a sacrifice bunt to first base, scoring Green. So the Tigers actually had a bunt score, and the Guardians could have tried to do the same thing, but they didn't. They weren't able to move. I guess they thought, well, we got a runner on third. We'll definitely move him in. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out. But if you look at the pitching performance, if you go down here to the pitching performance, look at this. Tarek Skubal, 7.2 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 14 freaking strikeouts. He had 107 pitches and 73 in the zone. 1.17 ERA. That's nuts. Will Vest came in, pitched 1.1 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. 15 pitches and 12 of those were strikes in the zone. Just a phenomenal performance by the Tigers from the mound. Now, the Guardians also had a good pitching performance. They used 4 pitchers instead. Williams went 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs. Just the 1 unearned run. 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Still a great performance. Gaddis came in 1.2 innings, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Sobrowski is where the Guardians lost the game, because in 0.1 innings, he gave up. Excuse me. I meant Smith. Sobrowski had 1 strikeout, no runs. But the thing is, they pulled him out after 0.1 innings. Smith came in, and this is where the issue came in with them losing the game. 1 walk, one strikeout. Man, what a game. If we go back up here to the top. 2 runs for the Tigers, 1 run for the Guardians, 5 hits for the Tigers, 4 for the Guardians, 1 error for the Tigers, and 2 for the Guardians. Those errors, man, crazy. Charlie says, Motor City Kitties, let's go. Enjoy the nap, says Ryan. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If we look at the live scoreboard, we can see the current score of the Padres Curbs game. It'll pop up there in a minute. Game over. Tigers win 2-1. There we go. There it is. Padres over the Cubs in the bottom of the third. Cubs are at bat right now with no outs, nobody on. I'm not going to be doing that game. I'm going to get some rest Yeah, it's right before 5 o'clock. If I'm lucky, I can sleep for nearly 2 hours. I think an hour and a half is the most I'll be able to get reasonably because I need to get up and reset the game. But Death Before Dishonor, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys and gals for being here. And thank you for liking the live stream. I think the ratio on the live stream was excellent today. Had a an average viewership of around 20. Wound up with 22 likes. I'm not going to complain about that at all. And I did want to say thank you to my subscribers. You know who you are, who donated. I got a couple of PayPal donations directly over the past, I would say, over the past 20 hours or so. Or, yeah, basically over the past 24 hours that made this possible because I really just could not afford to pay the extra money to do the live streaming for the playoff games. But a couple of subscribers really wanted me to do it and they chipped in. And like I said, I kept my promise. I went ahead and set it up. I had to do some extra work on the code. I mean, I did say that I took a day off yesterday after the Astros early game, day before yesterday. I had the rest of the day off. So I slept and I rested until the afternoon. After I got up, I did rest and relax and I slept. I slept some more. Um, I went in there and I laid down in my bay window area. I have a nice big rug. I took my pillow in there, made myself some coffee. I sipped on the coffee. I made a couple of short videos, and then I just went to sleep again. I just fell asleep again. It was nice to rest and relax, and it was so peaceful. I had the screen, the door open with a screen, and the wind was just coming in. There's the rice fields out there, very nice and quiet. Just felt so nice. Just curled up on the carpet there and fell asleep. But when I started getting the donations for the playoff games, I went ahead and started working on the code. So what you see on the screen right now, I've got the new logos. I decided to go ahead and alter the name of the channel. For those of you who don't know, which I think most of you here right now do know, the name of my channel has been Astros, but as the channel goes, I realize, like I said earlier, I'm going to have to adapt to doing the Houston sports just all the way through the year. I don't make so much money with this channel, especially since it just recently got monetized. I don't make enough money with the channel to justify taking several months off. You know what I'm saying? if I take if I take off and I don't do any live stream games between now and the next baseball season, then I'm going to have to go find some other work. But unfortunately, my health is just not good enough to do that. And actually in November, right now I'm in my old house in the countryside, but come December, it's going to be very, very heavy snow for a little while here. It's going to be very cold from December, January, February, March, April. For 5 months, it's going to be really, really cold here in my house. And it's just not insulated, and there's no indoor plumbing here. It's too difficult for my health condition for me to be staying here. So in November, I'm going to stay in Hiroshima City. A friend of mine has a friend from Vietnam who's got an apartment there, and he is going back to Vietnam with his family in November. So I will be doing my live streams from Hiroshima City, not the countryside. Now, the good thing about that is that the connection should be a lot better, and it has the fiber optic internet line. But for me, I think it's going to be really good for my health because staying in an apartment, a furnished apartment, a clean, furnished apartment with high-speed internet, just a few blocks away from the hospital, just a few blocks away from the brand new football stadium, minutes away from Hiroshima Station, the train station, and just a few stations away from the Mazda Zoom Zoom Hiroshima Kart Baseball Stadium. The location would be right in the city, uh, and it's very, very cheap. So I'm looking forward to being able to not rough it because it's going to be really cold here. It drops down to about 14 degrees Fahrenheit, and for those of you who know Celsius, it gets as low as -8 to -10, and there can be really heavy snow. So I'm really looking forward to that. And but I'm going to continue to do the Texans games. I will continue to do all of the playoff games that I can. Um, Depending on what my schedule and my health is like, I promise that I will do as many playoff games as I can. And of course, every week I will continue to do the Texans games. And whenever the Rockets get started, we're going to jump in on that. So I hope you can all join me for it. I hope that you'll continue to support the channel for that. Let's take a quick look at the live stream before I get out of here and lie down. Charlie says, I'm going to pretend the Blue Jays are the Astros. Just look at Springer, right? And just see the Astros superimposed over him. Let's go, Springer. Jason says, I feel like Cleveland wins the series. Cleveland has a better pitching staff as a whole. They just got scoobled today. Yeah, they definitely got scoobled, that's for sure. I mean, he couldn't have had a better day, really, unless he had gone 9 innings. If he had gone 9 innings, he could have had a better day, but shoot. I mean, how do you beat that? His performance today was beyond expectations. Beyond expectations. Charlie, thank you so much for that super sticker. That is much appreciated, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, these streams, I don't know how the streams are going to go in the way of viewers. The big Astros games can have as many as 2,500 views and maybe 250 likes. Today, I think the views are going to be much, much lower. And the likes right now are just at like 22. Maybe let me refresh it. Maybe it's a little higher now. We'll see. 28. It almost got to 30. Look at that. It almost got to 30. So that's good. Let's see here. Charlie said, sounds wonderful. Still so hot here in Houston. Yeah, man, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get out of that area. Even in Louisiana, when I lived there, it was the same thing. It's just hot and humid, and it seems like 6 months of the year is just too hot, too muggy, too humid. Just not good for me. I was never able to adjust to it. It really was difficult for me. Charlie says, I pray for your good health. We need you for next season and beyond. Well, I'm hoping to be here. You know, I wasn't expecting my channel to do what it did. Like I told one of my subscribers recently, I told him in a message, I wasn't expecting this channel in the beginning to do what it did. The primary reason that I started it is because I felt a little frustrated that there was nobody doing live play-by-play for the Astros. That's the whole reason I started my channel originally, was that there was nobody doing the play-by-play in English for the Astros. And I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous. Why is it that all of these other teams, have dozens of people doing live play-by-plays and reactions, but not the Astros? How is that? How can that be? And I thought it was ridiculous. And I thought that the Astros deserved that and should have that. And so nobody else was doing it. And I just decided why not give it a try? Why not give it a try? And I started it last year during the summer, right around the halfway point of the season. And picked it up again this year, and I did about 98% of the games. I did almost all the games this year. First time I've ever done something like that in my life. But the channel started to grow. The community got strong. And my subscribers have supported me in so many different ways. Um, I feel weird though, even calling my community subscribers, because I feel like we're a group. We're almost like a team. The comments I get just like that, Charlie, praying for my health, uh, giving me the support that I need with the comments, even in the live chat, giving me good conversation, because I spend a lot of time here by myself. So even having the interaction online with all of you is a big help to me. And of course, I get donations, um, super chats, PayPal donations, buy me a coffee donations, things like that. And obviously, without those things, I just can't do the channel. I just can't do the channel without the donations. And that's why I have to keep doing the live streams, because the sad truth is that long form videos just don't make any money. Like I said before, my channel was built on live play-by-play. And if I don't keep doing the live play-by-play, then my views and the income go way, way down. So I want to keep doing the live streams, but I want to be relevant to the channel. So beyond playoff games, I don't plan to be doing any games that are not Astros or not Houston games. So if there are important playoff games and my subscribers, my community really wants me to cover those games, then I will gladly do those. I will gladly do those playoff games. But if my community says, "Hey, listen, there's a Yankees Boston game, in the middle of the season, and there's no Astros game that day. Could you do that game?" I'm going to say, heck no. I'm not going to cover a regular season game for another team. I have no interest in doing that. So I just will never do that. I don't see any reason to do that. But Houston sports, and then possibly playoff games. And right now it is MLB playoffs. And so since there was not only requests, but donations made specifically for that, here we are. Another team that I was asked about was the Brewers, covering the Brewers. And we'll see. It depends on the schedule. I do know that for me, this Saturday, which is Friday in the U.S., I'm not sure if I'm going to be, which games I'm going to be able to do, because I've got to go somewhere and meet somebody. But I'll double check. Like I said, if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, you'll see which games pop up, because I will schedule the live stream and you'll get notified. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. If nobody has any questions or requests, then I'll jump off. If I'm not logged in, if I'm not live streaming, and you have some questions or comments, feel free to post them in the comments section, and I will see it later on. But in about 2 hours, I'll be back for the Dodgers, not the Dodgers. Why did I say the Dodgers? The Yankees and Red Sox game. It's because I'm thinking about, I don't know, draft Dodgers. The Brooders. Yes, that's right. I'll be back for the Yankees and the Dirty Red Sox, because as Astros fans, that's what we got to say. The Stankies, the Wankies, the Dirty Red Sox. Nah, I won't be dropping the hate. I won't be dropping the hate during the game. Just messing around with you guys and gals. But if you're interested in the wild card game 1 between the Yankees and the Red Sox, then I will see you there in just a little bit. Thank you for being here for this game. And I think that's pretty much it for now. Much love to you all. I would say go Stros, but it doesn't really make any sense right now. Instead, I'll just say go Dome. And I will see you back here in just a little bit. Goodbye.